Good morning and welcome to UPN Focus. I'm your host Milt Thompson, and we've been for the last several weeks talking about institutions perhaps that you've heard of but don't know very much about around here in central Indiana. And we have another one of those institutions that's way outside of the box with respect to the delivery of services to the community at large, and that is in the context of the Jewish Community Center. And we're going to talk today with our very special guest. We have Bryan, Cahen, who is the artistic cultural director of the JCC. Says you can call him by any.
Whatever you want to call him.
Well, welcome to our show this morning.
Thank you, Milt.
And with Naomi Tropp, who is the director of adult services.
That's correct.
At the JCC. The JCC, we've heard about the Jewish Community Center, the JCC, the acronym with the letters, out on the west side of Indianapolis, off of Hoover Road. We know where that is, and sometimes you drive by, you've seen this big development, this complex over the years. It's changed and progressed, and it's changed a lot since my days down the road at now gone Delaware Trail Elementary School, but my school bus would go by the
You're
JCC.
from the
Yeah, I'm from the neighborhood. So I've got a little more experience with it perhaps than other people.
Yeah.
Tell us about the organization. Naomi, want to start with that, about JCC, its
Sure.
history, what's it all about?
Sure. Well, the Jewish Community Center has been around for years, but I think probably the most important thing to talk about is what's happened in the last few years. Just a few years ago, we went through a huge transformation. The size of the place about doubled? Almost tripled. I mean, if you had not been by it for a while, you wouldn't even recognize it.
Very beautiful facade.
It's absolutely gorgeous. So a huge transformation took place, and along with that transformation, we had an enormous growth in membership. We went from having about 1,200 members to now having over 2,500 members. And so I don't forget to mention this, half of those members are Jewish and half are non-Jewish. That's probably the biggest misconception about the JCC, that you have to be Jewish to be a member. You absolutely don't have to be Jewish.
It's a community center.
It absolutely
is for those who want to take advantage of its rich programs. So it's not all about bricks and mortar, although you got a wonderful weight room and great gymnasiums and outdoor facilities and tennis courts and softball diamonds and things of that nature. It's really the people and the heart of the people that produce its programs that make it such an attraction and a draw.
Well, it's one of those facilities that we sort of tell people you can go there from birth to death. Basically, we start out with infant and toddler care, early childhood. We have school-age programs, adult programs, senior adult programs, senior meal programs, fitness, health assessments, pretty much everything that somebody would want, we have under one roof.
Bryan, your job, tell us about it. I mean, sounds like you've got an exciting job to.
Oh, my job's exciting. I enjoy my job. As the cultural arts director, I started 4 years ago building a program in the arts, performing arts, art gallery. We do about 10 exhibits a year featuring local, regional, and national artists. We have a concert series program that we started this year. We've been doing community theater the last 2 years. We do a film series in conjunction with the Indiana Film Society of foreign films on the first Tuesday of each month. We started a Jewish book fair last year. This is our second year that we're entering into. Pretty much we have brought in some professional theater productions, touring productions to the center. We work with a number of other community arts organizations in presenting their programs at the center. We did an international dance night last fall. So we've really grown from basically a part-time position in 1996 to a full-service arts facility, not only self-producing, but also bringing in and working with other community organizations.
So you work with other partners relative to getting the talent booked and or the shows or the concerts, but you also, now because you have facilities, are able to self-produce.
Correct.
Tell us about the facilities or some of the specific programs that you've produced.
Well, we've got, of course, a full-service stage. We have a full-service lighting and sound system there. So we've been able to bring in the past. We've worked with the Ensemble Music Society. They presented a couple of concerts at the center. We work with the Indianapolis String Quartet in the past year. This year, we've got our own concert series where we're bringing in through the Mideast West Fest 3 Middle Eastern performers. On November 5th, we open with Cahen who is one of 5 solo percussionists in the world. He'll be performing there and also doing some school residencies. On the 16th of November, we have Debbie Friedman, who is probably the premier Jewish folk singer in the world. On the 29th of this month, this coming Sunday, as a matter of fact, we're bringing in the Butler artist faculty for an Aaron Copland concert. And then at the end of November, on the 20th of November, the Indianapolis Philharmonic Orchestra will be doing a special concert there. So we're pretty much all over the board.
So that's a pretty ecumenical approach to all of the arts and the culture.
Pretty
so
much.
You get to dabble, not just in one side, not just theater, but you're dealing with music as well as with
music,
art.
dance. We have a full dance program at the center for children and adults, from ballet to flamenco dancing, Middle Eastern dancing, Pilates method of exercise. We've done several dance programs. We just did a dance program called In Motion with a new dance company that's forming in the community several weeks ago. And they had almost 150 people show up for their performance, community-based group.
Naomi, adult services.
I know, what is that?
What
adult
is that?
services?
What do you do?
Well, it's a little bit confusing because we have a lot of services for adults. Obviously, the services that Bryan offers
Crosses over into that.
Those are for adults. Fitness is for adults. We have all kinds of things that are of interest to adults. I think that the reason that my department was founded was because we have an aging group of baby boomers whose kids are starting to grow up. Yeah, you in that group? Me too. Yeah. Actually, I'm a little older. I'm just on the cusp.
Oh, we're in the same group.
Not quite a baby boomer, but and as people's kids are starting to grow up and they have more leisure time, they're looking for interesting things to do, and we decided to start a department to offer them some interesting things to do. The programs in my department are open to adults of all ages, but we're gearing them toward the baby boom generation.
So how do you create a program? And do you try to find out what the community is interested in, or do you kind of have some inside information about what our needs are? How do you go about developing a program?
We started by pulling together a committee which is made up of people who are of the ages that we're gearing the programs for, and I meet with them on a regular basis to discuss what they and their friends and colleagues and relatives are talking about, what they might be interested in, and then all we can do is just try different things and see what works and what doesn't. And it's a brand new program, so it will probably go through all kinds of transformative changes. There'll be one transformation to another, to another, to another, I'm sure, over the next few years. I would love to hear from people. If there are people out there in the community who are watching today and who find the idea of adult programs interesting, they're very welcome to give me a call at the Jewish Community Center and talk to me about what kinds of programs they'd like to see offered. Right now I'm offering book and movie discussion groups. We're offering day trips both in Indianapolis and outside. For instance, we just recently took a group to Madison, Indiana to tour some of the historic homes there. Took a group to Washington, D.C. for a day to visit the Holocaust Museum, among other attractions. We've started a major new travel program. This is the first brochure that went out for JCC Travel. This is called Fly to the Sunshine, the winter program. And we are offering a group of trips all in wonderful warm places for the winter.
For adult programs,
so, right.
Not only in a facility, but in a facility that is inviting and welcoming for adult programs. We'll want to talk more about very specific programs that are coming up, and we're going to do that right after we share these important words. Welcome back to UPN Focus. We've been having a fascinating conversation about the Jewish Community Center up on the northwest side of Indianapolis, not only about its spanking new facilities that are very eye-catching and the type of delivery of services that exist there, but of some of the very, very special programs. We've been doing that with Bryan Cahen, who is their artistic and cultural director, as well as with Naomi Tropp, who is the head of their adult services programs. Something special coming up here in November. You say a second annual, but tell us about the book fair that's coming up pretty soon.
The book fair is called the Jewish Community Book Fair. This is the second year for the book fair, and it will be held from November 9th through 19th. We will be selling over 700 titles. Is that correct?
700 titles that are coming in. My can barely get into my office right now with the books that are there. We have 9 authors of national prominence. They're all Jewish. Their subject matter may or may not be Jewish on some. We've got mystery writers, historical novelists. We've got an ex-CIA agent that's written a novel that's coming in. We have a photography book on Jewish mothers. We're bringing in Dr. Wayne Dosick to talk about business ethics. Michael Lerner, who's going to be talking about spiritual aspects of his book is Spirit Matters. Spirituality seems to be something big in the community. We're having a wide range of children's books. We have a children's author coming in, Eileen Sherman, who has written The Violin Players and several plays. She'll be doing some workshops with children and going to one of the public schools to talk to 8th graders that are studying the Holocaust and the Diary of Anne Frank right now. So it's pretty much a very broad-based fair. Books of all kinds, scholarly books, novels, a lot of children's books this year especially.
Why a book fair? Why a book fair from your adult programming point of view?
Well, the book fair, from the entire center's point of view, celebrates Jewish heritage, Jewish literature, Jewish authors, Jewish life in general. And although this definitely should not just be of interest to the Jewish community, I think that anybody who loves to read is interested in cultures other than their own. And as Bryan said, not all of the books have just Jewish subject matter. I think that, for instance, if you're a mystery lover, that you'd love to come and meet Rochelle Critch, who wrote a book called Dead Air. This is the latest in a mystery series that's been very popular that she has written. And I know I happen to be a mystery lover and can't wait to meet her and buy the book and have her sign it.
Yet there's something special, though, about Jewish heritage in terms of preservation, conveyance of the messages of that faith, the kind of activities that surround the Jewish community.
Sure.
There is some importance of that to the larger community.
Well, the Jewish people are called people of the book. And literacy is a very big program within the Jewish community and interfacing with the general community as well in literacy and promoting reading, book buying, trying to reach an audience that may not be familiar necessarily with the wide range of Jewish books and Jewish subject matter that's out there, and being able to come and meet the authors of the books for book signings. So all of our authors this year that are on our schedule are going to be here for book signings, lectures. Some are doing some special events, like I said, in the schools, business relationships. We're talking with some security people, with Richard Steinberg, who wrote The Four-Phase Man. He's an ex-CIA agent, so he's going to be talking about security issues as well, and things that relate, especially in the Middle East, with the happenings with the bombing of the USS Cole. He has some information about those kind of activities as well.
Who of these wonderful authors are you looking forward to? You just can't wait to meet, and it's going to get me up out of my seat. Other than trying to find out about the interest that surrounds their writing, who am I going to go see?
Well, I think that the guy that Bryan just mentioned, Richard Steinberg, who wrote Four-Phase Man, who bases his thrillers on his experience working as a CIA agent, I think that he would be exciting for just about anybody to meet, because this is somebody who has had life experience that most of us will never have, and who has a lot to share, not just in terms of fiction, but in terms of what is actually happening in the world today. I think that people could connect what he has to say with their own fears, their own dreams about the future. I think everybody's very concerned about what's happening in the Middle East right now, and the fact that terrorism might be growing again throughout the world.
Well, it's clearly a sensitive issue in our world today with respect to the happenings that are occurring in the Middle East. This is an opportunity to be educated, but I think also an opportunity for socialization and recognition. Sure. Tell us about activities that are surrounding the book fair that we can participate in.
Well, we've got, again, the authors will be here signing their books. We've got Dr. Michael Lerner, who's coming on November 9th. His
We can
book-
buy these books here at the book
You
fair?
can buy the books. All the books are for sale at the book fair. The authors, following their presentations, will be available for book signings, question and answer. We've got a businessman's breakfast with Dr. Wayne Dossick, who has written the Business Bible, which is basically a new interpretation of business ethics. He'll also be doing an evening program on how do you deal with things that, when bad things happen to you, the spirituality, how do we deal with things spiritually? Rochelle Critch, who has written his Murder Mysteries, Jessica Drake series with Dead Air being the latest, Blood Money, On Fertile Ground have been others in that series. Lou Weinstein is coming in. He's written a book called The Heretic, which is a historical novel based during the Inquisition. And of course deals with the relationships between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. Jewish Mothers is an interesting book. It's sort of a photo picture book by Paula Wolfson and Lloyd Wolf, where they've gone out and interviewed Jewish mothers and their relationship with their children. And as a matter of fact, when they're here in town, they are in the process of doing a new book called Jewish Fathers, and they are going to be looking to interview some fathers.
We don't have the same stereotypes about Jewish fathers as we do about Jewish mothers.
No, and this book goes a long way to dispelling those stereotypes. They really did a wonderful job of gathering together a group of 50 very different Jewish mothers, women from many different backgrounds, all walks of life, each of whom tells her own story, and there's a gorgeous photo of each of them in the book. And they are going to be here, both of them, both the photographer and the writer, will be here on Sunday, November 19th, for a brunch at 11 o'clock. That is something that you have to make reservations for. We have a couple of lunches and a brunch that you do have to make reservations for, and where there is a small fee. Everything else is completely free.
Everything else is free and open to the public. All the author presentations, for the most part, are free and open to the public. The only thing you have to pay for are the books when you want to buy them, and we're hoping that people want to buy 700 titles.
What was the experience that you had in the first year?
Last year
I wasn't here, so
capacity?
Last year was our first year. We had, again, we had about 7 authors of national and regional prominence, some local authors as well. And we had around 700 people that came through the book fair, attended the workshops, the lectures, and purchased books. We have basically doubled the size of the book fair this year.
So we've got opportunities not only for educational programs, for book signings, for the, well, we've got so much that I want to finish up with a few more items, but we're going to do that right after these important words. Welcome back to UPN Focus. We've been talking about, I believe, that has been kind of a hidden secret about lots of places in central Indiana, and that's the Jewish Community Center. We've been doing that with Bryan Cahen and with Naomi Tropp. The book fair that's coming up next week is exciting because we're going to have world-renowned authors in our community, an opportunity to be exposed from an educational point of view. We've talked on some bits of the adult services that cross over into your job responsibilities, Bryan, and that is having cultural activities as really a hub of some of the activities. But I know that so much more goes on out at the JCC. Naomi, start to tell us about some of the other programs that they're going to induce our audience out there to come up and take advantage of it.
Well, we offer a lot of programs for children. We have an early childhood education program that offers everything from infant care through kindergarten, and it's much more than just a daycare program. It's a fabulous program that offers all kinds of educational services to the kids. It's not like a babysitting program like some daycare programs are. It's very high. It's very high quality, right? In fact, the quality is so high and it's so popular that there are frequently waiting lists for some of the age groups. We have an after-school program, also very high quality program for kids who need some place to stay after school because their parents are working. We have summer day camp programs for all age kids. Lots and lots of programs. We have teenage programs. for just really every age child.
Athletic
There's something to
facilities?
do. Athletic, lots.
Fabulous, probably, to overuse the word, a state-of-the-art physical fitness center with weight machines, free weight area, a 3,000 square foot aerobic studio. We run aerobic classes through that. We have personal trainers available. If you're into spinning, which is a biking kind of program, we have a full spinning room with leaders
See,
for
we
that.
old baby boomers, we think of spinning as something completely different than what that
Right,
does.
well, that's what I
know
thought. And I know I wasn't good with needles at that point, but it's a great place to come and work out. We do physical assessments. Sports teams, we have fall basketball leagues, we have soccer leagues, softball leagues during the spring and summer, tennis.
Huge tennis program.
We have both an indoor tennis facility and outdoor tennis courts. We have, at last count, about 400 people participating in our tennis program. We have an on-staff pro. So pretty much anything you want we can do, from physical fitness to discussion groups for adults to trips to, again, the cultural arts on the north side of the building. We care, it's a caring facility. We care for the community cares for us, and I think the fact that we are open to the entire community for membership is paramount for people to understand. We also are a United Way agency. We do have a senior meals program. We deal with programs and services for the aged. We have transportation for senior citizens that are in nursing homes to go shopping, to get prescriptions, all kinds of services. We've worked with acculturation of new Americans coming into Indianapolis, helping them get settled, get jobs, full service
In other
facility.
words, if you build it, they won't necessarily come, but if you program it so that there's something for everybody,
Absolutely.
they most certainly will come. And they are going to come to the book fair. Tell us when that is again.
November 9th through the 12th, 9th through the 19th. We keep changing the dates because we keep adding the programs.
9th to the 19th, and they can get information by calling
251-9467. My extension number is 240. Naomi's extension
Is
is
227.
And you're going to go to our community calendar this week and see what we've got else going on in our community.
Here are some events in our area for you to focus on. The New Palestine Area Chamber of Commerce is having a holiday emporium today from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Doe Creek Middle School. The emporium will feature local artisans and include country crafts, woodworking, quilting, and other holiday gift ideas. Admission is free and Santa will be on hand to meet the kids. Also today from 10 to 4, the Martin Luther King Center is holding an AIDS Information and Awareness Day. Various agencies will be on hand to provide you with accurate information and valuable workshops for youth as well as seniors. The Martin Luther King Center is located at the northeast corner of 40th and Illinois in Indianapolis. And a reminder that November is Adopt a Child Month. Although over 1,100 children were placed in adoptive homes in 1999, there are still more needing a family. For more information on the special activities this month, call 1-888-25-ADOPT. We want to hear from you. Send your event information 3 weeks in advance to be part of the UPN 23 community calendar.
We've been with Bryan, Cahen, and Naomi Tropp of the Jewish Community Center. Wonderful, fascinating conversation, and you'll be here this time next week for UPN Focus. I've got Milt.